From this moment on, we will not accept you as customers. So don't even dream of dining here anymore. Now, get the hell out of Aroma. This is an order." Lou's words were rude and harsh, and he showed no courtesy to Dustin. Dustin had intended to be reasonable and talk things out, but upon hearing that, his expression darkened. No wonder all the staff at Aroma were so arrogant. It was because they had such an arrogant boss. "Hey, didn't you hear what he said? Get lost," Sue barked. "So this is how you run the place, by throwing customers out. Seems to me like you're not interested in business," Dustin said icily. "It's not that we're not interested in business. We're just not interested in business from you," Lou continued boldly. "I run the place, so what I say goes. I don't like the looks of you, so all of you better get the hell out of here within 1 minute, or I'll get things done my way." The crowd immediately made a big commotion when they heard that, urging Dustin to leave. "Well, Reese, the owner has made it clear that he wants you out of here. Why are you so shameless to stay?" Florence smirked as she folded her arms in front of her. She can't win him in an argument, nor can she win him by reasoning. So, the only way she could win this was to resort to abusing her powers and bullying him into leaving. Some people really know no shame. "He's clearly been kicked out, yet he lingers around like a stray dog," Julie said, insulting him. "Exactly. Doesn't he know his place? How dare he fight with us for the room? How ignorant." Victoria looked at Dustin in contempt. They now had Sir Mosey backing them up. Everyone else had to stand aside and make way for them. "Oh, so you're throwing your weight around now. Are you sure you want to do this?" Dustin looked at Lou coldly. "Of course, I'm sure." Lou lifted his chin. "You angered Mrs. Nicholson, and that's no different from angering me. Since you've gotten on my nerves, I'm throwing you out." Then, Lou gestured to his security guards. A moment later, all the guards swarmed up and surrounded Dustin, looking at him fiercely. Some of them even pulled out sticks, ready to attack upon Lou's orders. "Reese, you better know where you stand. You and us. We're no longer of the same status." Florence stuck out her chin and looked at him haughtily. "Do you know what power is? Do you know the difference between us now? To put things simply, we can dine here without paying a single penny. And you need to pay us to dine here. Get it? Just accept it. People like you deserve to grovel at our feet for life." Julie sneered. "Hey, rascal, you look very unhappy about things." A corner of Lou's lips was raised as he continued relentlessly. "But so what? You're on my turf, so I don't care who the hell you are. You will do as I say. And now, I say you leave, so you fucking leave. You're just the owner of a restaurant. I don't understand why you think you can afford to be so arrogant." Dustin scoffed as he shook his head. "Fine, it seems like you don't want business. Then I guess you can shut your business down from today onward." With that said, he pulled out his phone and made a call. "Get some of our men here and shut down Aroma." "Hey, you're going to shut us down?" "Oh, I'm terrified. See, I'm even trembling." Lou sniggered sarcastically. "Hey, kiddo, do you know who you're going up against? Do you know who's backing me up? Please do your research before acting up around here. I'm afraid you'll be scared silly once you know who is backing us up. I don't care who you are, and I don't give a damn who got your backing. All I know is I'm terribly pissed today. So you will pay for your actions," Dustin answered calmly. Lou laughed. "You're threatening me. Fine. I'll be waiting right here. I'd like to see what you're capable of." Lou folded his arms in front of his chest. He seemed to have absolutely no fear for Dustin. He must have a certain level of background and connections to be able to run a high-end restaurant in the city center where rent was sky-high, and business was booming for him, too. Not a while later, the sound of several cars zoomed past outside Aroma. Then, a large group of disciples from Kirin Gang stormed in. The guards from Aroma's expressions turned to that of fear when they saw them charging in. All of a sudden, they were no longer as arrogant as they were before anymore. Everyone who was involved in the underworld knew that the Kirin Gang was in control of the entire underworld of Millsburg. No other influences dared to go against them. So when they saw the disciples of Kirin Gang charging in, the guards were all intimidated. "Whoa, I never knew that the rascal actually wielded some power." Victoria was taken aback. They're just some thugs who do not deserve our attention," Julie remarked disdainfully. "Exactly. insignificant, and incapable thugs. Mr. Geek will be able to handle them easily enough. Florence acted all high and mighty. She would have been intimidated by the likes of them in the past. But now, they were nothing to her. After all, Sir Mosey's power was on an entirely different level. Sir Reese, is something the matter? Cornelius came running up to the second floor with their men in tow. Aroma is pushing their customers around, and I'm not happy with that. Shut the place down. This place will be closed indefinitely from now on, Dustin announced plainly. No problem. Cornelius raised his hand and said, boys, thrash the place. Show all the customers out. Beat up whoever dares to stop us. Yes, sir. The disciples of Kieran Gang got around to carrying out Cornelius's orders. Stop it, all of you. Lou finally lost his cool when he saw what was happening. You bunch of trash. Do you know who Aroma is backed by? How dare you wreck my place? Do you have a death wish? Fuck you. Cornelius lost his patience with Lou and slapped him. That immediately sent him sprawling on the ground. How dare you infuriate Sir Reese? It doesn't matter who's supporting you because no one will be able to save you today. How dare you hit me? Lou cupped his burning cheeks in his hand as he roared, Guards, throw these scum out of here. But the guards from Aroma simply looked around awkwardly. None of them dared to act rashly. These were disciples from Kieran Gang. They weren't people they could afford to mess with. Are you all fucking deaf? I said. Throw them the fuck out. Seeing how nobody was taking action, Lou was agitated. He turned and slapped several of the guards behind him. I hired you to keep things orderly, not to lounge around and do nothing. Throw them out right now. This is an order. Mr. Geek. They are from Kieran Gang. We can't afford to cross them. The leader of the guards whispered to Lou. So what if they're from Kieran Gang? I have the Grants behind me. Lou shouted maliciously. One call. One call is all it would take for me to get the troops here and rid of these scum from Kieran Gang. The Grants. A ruckus broke out among the onlookers when they heard that. No one had expected Lou to have such a strong backer. The Grants headed the Tremendous Three. Their influence overpowered that of even the Murrays. No wonder Lou dared to act so arrogantly. Why the hell are you all still idling about? Get on with it, Lou shouted as he delivered another slap to the leader of the guards to vent his frustration. Damn it, go all out, boys. The leader of the guards gritted his teeth. He gestured for the rest of the guards to follow him as he charged toward the disciples of Kieran Gang. They had the Grants behind them anyway. They had nothing to fear. You want a fight? Cornelius grinned when he saw the guards charging toward them. Boys, you have 3 minutes. Go for it. All right. The disciples of Kieran Gang were excited. They rubbed their fist on their palm as they went up to face them. Cornelius was the leader of Shadow Gang, and all the members were formidable figures who had escaped Azkaban. They were considered the elites even within the Kieran Gang. And now, after Dustin's vigorous training, their abilities have improved by leaps and bounds. Any one of them could easily take out 100 opponents in one go. They would not lose out to any major guild in the martial world, much less these mediocre guards. As expected, it was immediately clear who was winning once the fight started. The disciples of Kieran Gang, who used to be from Shadow Gang, quickly crushed the guards in no time. In under 3 minutes, all 30 guards were sprawled on the ground. They were so badly hurt that they couldn't even move. Trash. What a bunch of trash. Lou flew into a rage when he saw all his men on the ground. He had thought that they could hold up for at least a while. Who would have thought that they'd all be defeated so quickly? They were absolutely useless. Trash the place up. I want the place totally wrecked. Cornelius did not hold back. He instructed the disciples of Kieran Gang to carry on with what they had started out to do. But, of course, their aim was only to trash the place up without causing harm to the innocent onlookers. You ignorant bastards. How dare you act up here in Aroma? I guess all of you have death wishes. Just you wait. Lou was livid. He took out his phone and made a call for backup. Dustin simply watched on without stopping him. He had intended to be reasonable and talk things out, but since they insisted on throwing their weight around, he would also play at their game. Dustin, aren't you going overboard? Dahlia, who had been silently watching by the side, suddenly spoke up. I've gone overboard. I don't think so. Dustin shrugged. Mr. Geek owns Aroma. He has the freedom to decide who he serves. His words might have been harsh, but you should not have gotten your men here to trash the place. Besides, you won't be able to handle the consequences, Dahlia warned. It didn't matter who was in the wrong. Lou had the Grants behind him. They were not people that an insurance agent could afford to offend, not even if he had the Hammonds backing him up. Isn't that statement of yours a little double standard, Ms. Nicholson? Natasha scoffed. Why didn't you say anything when Mr. Geek was insulting us earlier, or when he was bossing people around? But now that he's starting to lose out, you're backing him up. To act all righteous? She had been fairly annoying before she lost her memories. But how was she even more insufferable now that she suffered from amnesia? I'm just stating facts. Dahlia answered coldly. Mr. Geek has got the Grants backing him up. You are in no position to cross them. If you stop now, I might be able to put in some good words for you and smooth things over. Thanks for the consideration, but no thanks. Ms. Nicholson, we can handle it ourselves. Natasha turned down Dahlia's offer without even giving it any thought. It did not matter to Natasha whether Dahlia was capable of doing that. Even if she was, Natasha didn't want help from her. Dahlia, why are you helping them? If they have a death wish, let them have their way. Florence pursed her lips. Yes, Dahlia, all we need to do is to sit by and watch. Why should we meddle with their affairs? It will do us no good, Julie echoed. She had been dying to see Dustin and his friends get into deep trouble. Now that the opportunity presented itself, she would not let it slip by. Do you really intend to go against the Grants? Dahlia's gaze on Dustin was sharp as she asked one last time. I will shut Aroma down for sure today. If the Grants insist on standing up for him, I'll go all out, Dustin replied resolutely. Dahlia frowned in frustration. Why was Dustin so stubborn? Dahlia had spoken to him nicely and even offered to help him. But he did not appreciate it. HMPH, you've said all you can, but they insist on doing things their way. In that case, they deserve what they're about to get. Dahlia, let them be. Florence crossed her arms over her chest as she looked at Dustin in distaste. Dahlia, you're too kind. These people are trying to steal the private room, and yet you're helping them? There's no need to be so kind to people like them. Julie shook her head. Exactly, Dahlia. Some people need to be taught a lesson to be put in their place. Victoria exclaimed huffily. Forget it. I shall stay out of your business then. Dahlia's expression was cold as she backed off and went to take a seat in the corner. Somehow, she felt some inexplicable frustration when Dustin turned down her offer to help him. It just came on suddenly and took over her. What was going on with her? He was just a stranger that she'd met a handful of times. Why was he getting to her? Hey, rascal, Ms. Nicholson's offering you a way out, but you chose to turn her down. Do you know how stupid your decision is? You'll regret it once my backup gets here. Lou sniggered, looking at Dustin like he was a fool. What an honor it was to have Ms. Nicholson speak up for him. Others would die for that chance, but the rascal actually turned her down. He was digging his own grave. Ha! You can act up all you want now. You'll be done for in a while. Sue exclaimed indignantly as she hid behind Lou, shooting daggers at Dustin. Dustin could not be bothered with her. He showed Natasha and the rest of them back into Celestial Room 3, and they sat down to have some tea. They watched on as the disciples of Kieran Gang worked at tearing the place down. Go on, wreck the place. You'll be paying tenfold for what you've destroyed today. Lou's expression was dark. A flame of anger burned within him, steadily growing stronger by the minute. Who dares make a scene at Aroma? Someone bellowed. Then, a group of big, burly men with clear killing intent barged in. Two well-dressed young men led the way. On the left was a man in a white shirt with a pair of sunglasses. He had a cigar perched on his lips, and he strode in a very showy manner. On the right was a man in black, who was extremely built and gave off a dominating air. His gaze was sharp, and one could tell he wasn't an ordinary person at a glance. Vlad, you're finally here. Lou's eyes lit up, and he quickly went up to the man in the white shirt. That was Vlad Grant, the brother of General Lionheart, Tyler Grant. Tyler was the most important figure in the entire Grant family. And because Lou was backed up by Vlad, business went well for him. You mentioned in the call that someone is making a scene here at Aroma. What's going on? Vlad asked with his cigar still between his lips.